Hi guys, so welcome to the Gtech01 project's feedback. I'll go over the general gameplay experience first. The bomb defusal game. I like the overall kind of idea behind it, and definitely the menus and everything. Like the graphics look cool, pretty interesting style there. A couple of explanations at the bottom, and so let's go over the game. So initially, like when you look at it, it's the style is more like sci-fi grayish kind of. And what that helps with having like the traps stand out quite a bit. And then you walk into elements to destroy them. Because you have the baseball bat in your hand, and then you run into a box that falls down, and you get the note. First of all, like the note here, proper size, good size, that works. Why can I destroy, as a player, I would ask myself, why can I destroy now when I hold the note? Why can I also destroy everything around just by bumping it in? That makes the baseball bat um, kind of unnecessary. And then here I lose the note, but if I don't look at the very tiny note in the hands of the player, I might not even notice that I lost it. So I run around, and that happened to me on the first gameplay test. Yeah, so that is something we need to talk about. And then when I use the note on this bomb, which I happen to run into, here I have the water bucket, again super small, um, and yeah, we need to talk about we need to talk more about the importance of visual feedback for the player. So I can destroy more stuff. Again, like this one, I ran into this trap again, and now I have to get the box back, just like it should be in the game. But again, I don't get a feedback, a visual feedback that I lost something that really indicates properly to the player, like, oh, you something just changed in the game. So I'm trying to find the bomb now that works with the fuse, so that I can pour water on it. Um, and one big problem I had with this one is the because the rooms look so similar. Once you destroy everything in a room, you there's the bomb, and now it looks to me like the bomb is now activated because the fuse is sparking. Yeah, I get the idea of it sparks because it's broken. That works with something electric, but on that bomb, it's not. So we have to, I will talk a little bit more about the overall issues that I found with this game. Um, it works. It's actually, when you understand it, it's fun. But there are a couple of issues that could have made it much better. So Raccoon Fair, very nice menu, very nice explanations, and then we go into the game. So we have our raccoon here. It's very colorful. It has a really good style, and the camera setup is actually quite nice. So we have different items. We can see that something is picked up, and we get very nicely done a warning that, hey, you lost something because you bumped into the water trap. So I like that the player can see more of the character, the front, when he turns around, and I like the use of the overall use of particle systems here. Which the particle systems in the bomb defusal game were good. Yeah. So now we bring it back. There, I would like to see a feedback. Like, yes, delivery successful. Another particle effect would have worked. The style overall in here and the use of textures and everything is really good. Like for a first project, this is really good. Um, so we're running around. We have a counter at the top, and at the top you can see that you have a top right in the menu. you can see that we picked something up and now it's gone. Yeah? But on the box itself, I would like to get some particle effect or something like that. Um, Sometimes I felt like you get too lost in this area because it is not the same problem like with the bomb diffusal game. You have a lot of stuff and different colors going on. That helps, but still an indicator on to where the box is that you need to deliver to, like your home base, would have been nice because I got lost a couple of times. The traps work well. I love how you pick stuff up. You had the other game had that as well. Yeah, if you pick up but this is all not in proportion. So it's much easier to see in terms of, hey, I picked something up and you notice a change. So that to me is the big difference between the two games. Um, and The generation of new elements that to collect that pop up sometimes happens to be inside an object, which usually isn't a problem, but for instance, with the candy bar here, that can be an issue. Because then it's all of a sudden it's under a bench and you don't really see where it is. But yeah, those are minor things. But the difference between this and the bomb defusal game is here you have constantly something to do because the level updates itself constantly. The other one has the three goals, which is a totally, totally okay concept. It's just more, you feel a little bit more time pressure here. So let's talk about the overall setup of the projects themselves. So I'll go about a couple of different things here first, and that is the overall structure. The hierarchy here and the level setup is absolutely great. Like I love how you guys have a clean setup. I looked at the naming conventions and everything. That was totally on the level that we expect. We expect it to be. And also down here in the project folder, really good setup. Um, yeah, it's not a complex project, but you have a really neat setup here. And that is absolutely how it should be. Like, really great work there, guys. So now let's talk about the overall setup of your level system. And I noticed a couple of things that you need to improve on just for in future projects. Yeah, this is about, of course, this is about learning, um, and this is totally okay. So first things first. I was first really interested in how you got that menu so small, but I'll get back to that a little bit later. So the characters in the scene, you have the traps or general setup here, yeah, and then you have the canvas at the center here. The canvas is properly set up, um, and like really well done. This works and is as it should be. Now, I noticed a couple of things here that kind of I checked if you turned on if you turned off the shadowing, and it should cast shadows. So I wondered where the shadows are, and I also checked the sizes of your objects and everything, and then I created a cube. Just to test the scaling of everything in your level, and a lot of things fell into place. So this is the cube, one by one unit, and this is your level. So everything in your level is extremely large. This is multiple terrains wide and high. If you this is like I've dragged the cube into the scene now, and this is like times 100. This is a massive, massive level. I don't know what happened there or how you created your models in Blender, but everything is massive. Um, if you would do a light map rendering for this, the light map rendering would take for hours because of this massive size. Um, and that is also why you don't see any real-time shadows, because the real-time shadows have a unit limit distance from the camera, and you won't be able to see this properly. And even if you look at your positions and everything, you're talking in the 2000s and whatnot kind of setups. Then you have intersecting level elements. You have these elements to separate walls, and then here, when you check closer, this is, and you have this on a lot of your objects, this is a UV unwrapping mistake where you do not use the entire layout of the UV unwrap, but paint inside of it, and that generates these white borders. So please next time check on everything in terms of when you draw your textures. You didn't use that many textures. The textures that are on there are fine. Sometimes the UV scaling is off, like on the walls here. But here, for instance, it works totally fine. And yeah, so this is in general a really good setup, but there are a couple of mistakes that would have caused you major problems in the general level setup. Let's take a quick look at the menu here, the main menu setup. Again, just like in the game, proper setup, absolutely well done. Using graphics and everything, it also works as it should. When you work with that stuff, the button setup is great. Really nothing to criticize here. This is really and like the style is also pretty cool. It fits the game. I just wish you could see the character in the game a lot more, and not just he looks like a yellow and an orange ball holding a bomb or a bat or something like that. Okay, so now for Raccoon Fair. Raccoon Fair has a really good setup. Again, also in the hierarchy, like proper setup, very neat, very controllable, like really great work, guys. You used light mapping, you used a lot of particle effects. This is the character in the game, using a particle effect system, really nicely done, and a good start setup, well thought through with that border. Um, just like the bomb defusal game, you have a certain setup, and then you have elements that can change from level to level or gameplay to gameplay to gameplay. Both solutions work really nicely and are a really good idea. Okay, let's just quickly go and check the project itself. Yeah, so just a sec. Yeah, the scale is perfectly fine. This is how it should be. This is also why the light mapping worked. So let's talk about the project here. Project setup, pretty neat. I would have changed these the four elements here, the four imported folders into one. That makes it neater. Yeah, it's a good solution. It could have been a bit neater in that case, but overall, the setup of the project as well here, just like with the bomb defusal game, is absolutely okay. Naming conventions, I checked them on both projects, have been met, so there's no problem there. And overall, it's really good work. What else? In gameplay mode, just hold on. So in gameplay mode, with the elements generated, um, to check on some of the things here that I wanted to take a look at in terms of seeing how you went over things. Like the prefab setup is great. A lot of different prefabs, like a lot. Really great work, guys. Let's go into just a sec. Um, let's just zoom in. Okay. So yeah, yeah. As I said, like the style of the game is great. It fits. It looks nice. It looks very gamey. Um, and when I check the setup of the prefabs for the static ones and the other elements, like every pivot is where it should be, just like in Bomb Diffusal. Um, and the setup is great. And one of the big differences between this one and Bomb Diffusal is the use of materials. Like still, in some cases, you could have used less materials per object, which is always important for optimization. But Bomb Diffusal had this on a much larger scale. Um, for instance, on the chairs in Bomb Diffusal, they seem to have two colors, but they have five materials, and that is totally unnecessary, and you should work on that, guys. The texturing, the use of UV unwrapping, where it was applied, looks really great in this one. The objects have polygons, as far as I could tell. Like for instance, yeah, the chocolate, even like these little elements, like the pickup elements, look great. Um, the candy cotton is kind of a little bit too high poly, but that is okay. Um, and then I checked the objects for their setup in terms of polygons. Does it make sense where they are and where they've been removed? And all that also works. So really great job there on the 3D modeling side as well. And on the prefab setup, like there is nothing, really nothing to that you should change there. Like the setup is absolutely, absolutely good. Um, Use of sound, the music in both. You implemented sound in here and in Bomb Diffusal. Um, it's like you use pretty much everything that you should be able to use by now. Um, as I said, the only thing that I really would have liked to have is a map. And speaking of maps, yeah, I wonder if, because I just saw that the floor can be seen from from below. I wonder if this has been set up to, no, it's set to front. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Um, so where was I? Yes. Let's take a look at the um, setup in gameplay mode in Bomb Diffusal. By the way, I noticed that in Raccoon Fair, you guys had some of the menus not set to scale with screen size, but on constant pixel. That will really mess up your life later on when you have. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, that is why one or two of the menus, the text is off. Okay, so Bomb Diffusal. Again, like great work here. The setup of the rooms and everything works. You get this jitter also. That box doesn't fall asleep because of the massive scale that everything has, and now the physics settings and the minimum speed, minimum distance per second um, prevents prevents it from falling asleep. So you have these objects constantly um, active as physics objects. In this case, that doesn't mess with the performance that much, but if you have a lot more physics objects, then that would have caused a lot of trouble. So here's, yeah, the game character itself. As I said, like I would have loved to be able to see the guy from the front so that you can actually see it's a character. The overall setup works, as you can see. It's a nice way to go about it. The objects spawn in different areas. The main problem here with that game was the user feedback, the visual user feedback, and orientation for the player. All right, so that was that, and I want to add a couple more things in terms of feedback after this, so bear with me.